Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, glad to have you as part of the family. And if you're returning, good to see you again. Listen, guys, tonight we are leveling up this video. And tonight we are talking about how I went from making 40K a year to almost $150,000 a year. And if that is what you are here to hear about, drum roll. Tum, 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 tum. I am going to give you all of the information how I went from 40K to almost 150,000 a year. And yes, guys, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Guys, you're still here. So listen, we are not making this video very long. We are just going to jump straight into the information because I know that's what you are here for. So as you guys know, in 2020 I graduated with my master's in clinical mental health, and prior to that I was working as a probation officer with the state. I started out with the Virginia Department of Juvenile Justice as a juvenile probation officer, and I started out making $35,000 a year. This was back in 2018. Prior to that, I started out as a let me jump back. That was 2015. I was a rehabilitation counselor. Prior to that, making $32,000 a year, and I was working at the Beaumont Juvenile facility here in Virginia. They closed down and I transitioned into becoming a probation officer, and I was making $35,000 a year. Got some raises, got to about 37,000, and then in 2018 I transitioned over into adult probation as a pretrial probation officer. Now that came with a little bit more money, and I started out at 40,000 as a adult pretrial probation officer. And I did that, and we got some raises along the way. I resigned from that position in this year. Well, let me backtrack. I resigned from the full-time position in April of last year, and then I went part-time, and then I finally resigned back in September of this year. So let's do some math. So while I was a probation officer, adult probation officer, I was making, at full-time position, I was making 45,000. Last year in 2020, while I was doing my internship, a part of my internship for my master's program, I got a paid internship that was paying me $20 an hour. So from that position, I made about $25,000 or $30,000 for that year. So I was doing probation and I was working part-time with that, and I also had a paid internship through my clinical work. So I had 3 jobs in 2020, and that totaled me up to about $100,000 right there. Now let's fast forward to 2021. In 2021, and I know there is that say in America that a Jamaican will work 3 and 4 and 6 jobs. Listen, yes, I will. I will work 3, 4, 5, and 6 jobs if I need to and if I have the time to. So fast forward to 2021. And in 2021, I was working 3 jobs along with my clinical work, because in the state of Virginia, in order to become licensed in clinical mental health, you have to do 3,400 hours. Guys, that's a lot of hours. 3,400 hours. And so I was doing that under the supervision of my clinical supervisor, and I was still working probation. I resigned in April of last year from probation, from my full-time position, and I remained making $25 an hour from probation part-time. So, and I was working 60 hours per pay period. So you do the math and you can tell me. But I started as a full-time substance abuse counselor, and I was making $26.50 an hour for my substance abuse counselor, and that's without my license. I started out without my license for substance abuse, and then this year in February, I passed my licensure and I got a $4.50 or $5.50 raise on the hour. So that took me to about $30 an hour for substance abuse counselor, which a lot of you may say that is not a whole lot. It's not a whole lot, especially when you're talking about going to school for such a long period of time and you're coming out, you're making $22, $25, or even $30 an hour. The bulk of that is really experience that you're gathering for when you decide to venture onto your own business, which the bulk of the money, when you become an independent worker, you will see more of the money. But while you're going through your licensure and you're getting all of your hours for your state board, you're going to be making some money, but it's not even a fraction of what you will make when you get licensed and you open your own stuff. So guys, I don't want anybody coming up here and say $30 ain't nothing, because listen, a lot of us out here work years and years and years and years before we even see $30 an hour. So let's go. So let's stay on track. So I was working probation, making $45,000 an hour, $45,000 a year. And then I was a substance abuse counselor, making $55,000 a year. So that right there put me at $100,000. And then I began working part-time with a in-home service provider. And this is independent contract work. So I was getting paid between $150 and $200 for an assessment. So guys, you tell me, you do the math. That's what I said. I'm telling you that don't worry about the hourly rate that you're getting, because there are other aspects of the field that you can make more money in. So look at those parts of the field, because there's more money to be made. These are just parts of the puzzle. So substance abuse, when you're working for-profit agencies, you're not going to get a ton load of money. When you're working for the state, you're not going to get a ton load of money. One of the things that I have learned, just to sidetrack a little bit, is that the state will give you great benefits but not so good pay. For-profit will give you more money but not so good benefits. So did I say that right for probation? For the state, they'll give you good benefits but not so good pay. And for-profit private companies, you'll get a little bit more money but not so good benefits. So you have to weigh the pros and cons and figure out which works for you. So I was working for the state and for profit agencies. So those two jobs alone landed me at $100,000. Now, let's break down just those two jobs before I get to the third job, right? Those two jobs, I would go to work at 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, not 6, 5 a.m. in the morning, because I worked at a substance abuse clinic, which means that those clinics open super early and close really early. So 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. You have the rest of your day to do a lot of things. Now, if you have children, your children are in school between 8 and 4. So you still have time to do another job, which is what I did. I held on to probation, because probation pre-trial, I went part-time. I was working every other weekend and about 3 days out of the week for about 3 hours each of those days. You can't beat that, right? And you're talking about getting $26 an hour for a really low impact job, because for probation pre-trial, all you're doing is assessment reports for the court, making a recommendation for the offender's release. It's not a lot of work, and you put your dispositions in, and that's it. So on my next video, that's going to come up after this, you're going to see me in the same clothes. I'll be talking about some jobs that you can actually do to make easy money in this field. So stay tuned for that. So those were my two main jobs. And then I went part-time with an in-home agency doing assessments and authorization for in-home services. Now, based on the agency that you get with, you will make anywhere between $100 and $250 for an assessment. Guys, it takes you about two hours to do an assessment. So you're literally making between $200 for an assessment. You cannot beat that. You can't beat that. So when you add all of that, and then depending on the agency that you're at, you will be able to negotiate what you're going to be charging for the authorization. So for the agency I was with, I charged $25 for doing not a reassessment, authorization, and $30 for any substance abuse counseling that I did with anyone. So $30 per hour with anyone that needed substance abuse counseling, because I am certified. See, I am a certified substance abuse counselor in the state of Virginia, and I am a resident in counseling. As you all know, I failed my LPC exam back in July by 4 points, and I was devastated. So I am restudying to take that in the beginning of December, because my goal is to get all of my license that I'm going for in the year of 2022. It's a lot of pressure, I know, that I have put on myself, but that is what the goals I've set out for myself. And even if I fail again in December, that's okay. I'll just go back again and I'll study to pass it, because I will pass it. So those are the jobs. So you have so much that you can do. And then for my clinical supervisor that was supervising me for my state board hours, I got $30 an hour for every client that I saw. So because I still had to do work, of course, to earn those hours, because she wasn't charging me. Now here in Virginia, I've seen clinical supervisors charge anywhere between $80 and $180 for supervision. Thank God I found an awesome person who did mine for free. Technically not free, because I was carrying a caseload and she was getting paid from the people that I saw. So that's where she earned her money. Instead of charging me per hour that she saw me, she earned her money from me carrying a caseload, which was awesome, because guess what? Now that's knowledge that I'm getting, and my hours are getting docked through that. So whatever works for you, let it work. That worked for me, and I'm excited and I'm happy about that. So that's how I went, guys, from making $40,000 an hour to getting my master's and leveling all the way up. I tell you that the pay that you can make once you get your master's in either social work or counseling is endless. You can become an independent contractor where you can set your own hours. You can get with agencies that will pay. And guys, for me, I will be starting my own outpatient service counseling agency once I pass my LPC. So guys, insurance pays between $80 and $150 an hour for an outpatient session. So you do the math. You see 10 people per week, or you can see more, because my clinical supervisor was seeing at least 20 people per week. Guys, that's dough. That is money. But again, as you all may hear, you don't come into the counseling field solely just for money, because it takes a lot out of you. You have to come with a good plan. You must have a good action plan to execute to make that money. It will take some work out of you to make the money, but you can make the money. And in the next video, guys, I'm going to talk about some jobs that you can actually do that pays a lot more money, where you don't have to do a lot, 4 or 5 jobs to earn a significant amount. You can work 1 or 2 jobs, part-time job, and make some dough. So guys, yes, 2020, 2021, and 2022 was my year. And I am just over the moon excited, because getting my master's degree showed me what I was missing out on and how I was settling being a probation officer. Because guys, being a probation officer, it takes a lot out of you. You are doing a lot of work because you have no control over your caseload. It's whoever the court puts on probation, and it's whoever is working. You're going to get a ton load of work. You're working a regular 8 to 9 5 with no flexibility in there, and you're working for a mere 40,000, 35,000, 40,000. And you know, last year the state gave a raise because during COVID, so that was damn near a $7,000 raise, because when I resigned I was at 47,000. And so, and I was part-time money, so if I stayed full-time I probably would have been about 55. But guys, you probation and all the other works that are within the state, not all of them are great. As a rehabilitation counselor, as I said, I was making like 32,000 a year, and those are regular 8 to 5 jobs that has no flexibility, that you cannot go anytime you want to. So again, don't settle. If you are on this journey to getting your master's degree in social work or you're in counseling, get that degree, because I am telling you, you are going to be over the moon excited with some of the things you can branch out and start doing. Let me know if this video, guys, you like my hair, was helpful, because a lot of people just sometimes don't know what is out there. They don't. And I'm here to tell you, in less than 2 years, I almost tripled my salary. And I'm going to end on that note. Guys, don't forget to like, share, comment, share the videos, guys. This is a lot of information that I bring it to you. And I'm hoping that I can grow this channel. So go ahead, guys. Continue the discussion down below. And as always, I will see you in the next video, which is coming right now. Right now. I'm going to put a jacket on and change just a little something. But I'm coming with the juice about different jobs. See you in the next video.